only did Jesus give him back to his mother different, she was changed by that interaction. Because if she once put her identity in that young man and her value in that young man and her self-worth in that young man, I'm thinking that because of this interaction, she's gonna begin putting her identity, self-worth, and value in the one who resurrected the young man. She's going back different. So not only are those two going back different, Jesus not only gave that young man back to his mother, but Jesus gave that young man back to every single person who was within the walls of that gate. He gave him back to his mother. He gave him back to the people who were mourning at one time, who are now celebrating, by the way, saying God has indeed visited his people. So he gives him back to the mourners differently. He gives him back to his friends different. He gives him back to his relatives different. He gives the young man back to his employers different, his friends different, his acquaintances different. When God has an interaction with us and he purges dead things and he gives us new life, we have no choice but to enter back into our gates different. I wonder who God's calling us to go back to different. I wonder what gate, maybe it's the gate of our household, the gate of our marriage, the gate where we're parents to our kids, the gate of our workplace, the gate of the restaurant, the grocery store, the gate of our car when we're driving. I wonder who God is giving us back to different. Do you know that when Jesus took hold of my heart and started doing the work, I was bartending full time. It's what I wanted to do with my life. And I was good at it. And I had a whole host of regulars. And they loved seeing me. But when I came back to that place different, I went from serving one spirit to another. And so when people started coming to my bar, they weren't coming for the drinks. So they thought they were coming for the drinks. But they started coming for the gospel. I started sharing the gospel with people who were regulars at my bar. It was blowing their minds. And I would go in there and they'd be, it's something different about you. I set my watch that it would go off every hour. Every 60 minutes, my watch would go off and I would thank God for the past hour. And it started to create in me a passion for prayer, a presence-based prayer and thankfulness and gratitude for everything God had done in my life for that past hour. I started sharing the gospel with regulars, strangers. People started asking me, hey, why are you so different from any other bartender in this place? Waiters and waitresses used to come and get me to come out from behind the bar to meet with people in their booths over appetizers so that I could pray for them. And my boss thought I lost my mind. He was like, what is going on with Luke? Who would have thought you could have taken your occupation, gone back differently, and having that place become a mission field? If God can do that in a bar, I wonder what he could do at the office, at the school. What can God do when we go back different? And you know what happens when we go back different? We start inviting people into the procession of eternal life. They're called out of the procession of death, following dead things toward the grave, and they're called into the procession of everlasting life. Open the gates, we're coming through. And it's a procession of joy and anticipation and hope, and it's full of faith. And we follow Jesus, who is the life and who is the resurrection, and by the way, who is the gate. And we say, make way. Here we come. It's a joy-filled, hope-filled, eternal procession of everlasting life. You want to come be a part of it? His name's Jesus.